Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today, in the top left spawning as our blue Zerg player playing for Team Kaizi Gaming, opening up with a very fast little pool here, so there's no hatchery yet. It is, of course, Reynor. And in the bottom right as our red Terran player playing for Kaizi Gaming as well, it is Spirit. Terran versus Zerg here over on Grassvan, one of the maps where people look at these maps and they say, wow, that looks like a good map for Zerg. It's large, it's open, it has a lot of, it's cool, it looks nice. I think Zerg would probably be good on this, because large maps tend to be good for Zerg. But when we actually get into the nitty-gritty details of this map, and especially if we look at it through the view of a late-game player like Spirit or a Bian or a Maru, it plays out kind of funky in a way, where the third base for the Terran will be positioned over here, and then the fourth base of Terran can be built right here. And the moment Terran establishes this fourth base, they basically get a fifth for free as well. This base is practically impossible to kill because the rotation to attack it is so extremely large. So you only really need to defend one area, which is this, and then by default you get your fifth. Once you push a little bit further forward, you basically seal off the sixth as well. And then the hardest thing often is taking a seventh base for Terran. The bottom side base is often not very realistic as it exposes the top. But the top side base is hard because it's relatively open. But you're already looking at split map scenarios there, which potentially could be very good for Terran. And I've heard a lot of Terrans. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh no. I've never seen this happen before. Spirit went without a scout, sent his Reaper across the map, got it surrounded by 6 links. And now it's practically dead. Here I am talking about the late game. This is what I used to do when I would go in tournaments as well, back in the day. You know, I'd be going through the brackets like, oh, if I beat this guy in the first round, I get to probably play this dude, and then I beat this fella, and I get to play this guy, and I'm already like plotting out my way in the final, and then I lose in the qualification process, don't even get to play in the tournament. That's pretty much what happened here with Spirit as well. It's like looking at like what bases to take as a 6th and a 7th, loses his Reaper to 6 links and loses the game. Actually pretty decent defense after losing your Reaper for free. Ends up losing only 2 Marines as a result afterwards. Starts a Hellion, 3rd CC on the way as well, so fairly greedy, didn't build a bunker either. I guess the thought process here was, if my opponent is following this up with roaches, I'm dead anyway. So it's better for me to just gamble completely on greed and hope I'm not being roach all-in. That often is actually a good kind of solution to a bad early game, is saying, okay, if X happens, I'm probably really far behind or dead, so I'm just going to completely prepare for Y. And if it is Y, I'm still a little bit behind, but at least in a playable position. And you just ultra die against X in that case. So it's an interesting approach that a lot of pro players often take to these scenarios. And I think Spirit here got away with it. And as a result is in definitely a playable position. Follows this up with a Liberator. We see a second Tech Lab on the way, which is a little bit surprising given the fact that there's no Banshees here being built. Maybe it's going to be Lib into Raven. Oh. Okay, that's actually a really cool build. Oh, I haven't seen this yet. This has to be a new patch thing as well then, huh? Because of the lower cost of the Raven. These builds, I guess, are more viable. It wouldn't surprise me if we see things like Viking into Raven as well. Where before we saw a lot of Viking into Lib. I think Viking into Raven actually sounds really good. Where you have that initial deny of the Overlords and then the Raven with the Hellions, allowing you to kind of take out these creep tumors. Oh, that sounds powerful. I wonder if that's a build yet. I'm actually going to answer Reynor later today. But for now, we won't know. Lynx moving around, trying to take out SCVs, not quite working out. Instead, it's just Lynx dying. Well, it's not actually a Raven, though. It's just a Lib. Why was he occupying a Tech Lab then? Well, that makes very little sense, but then again, I'm not here. I'm not the sense police. I'm here to cast the game of StarCraft 2. Liberator moving around is going to not find any damage here. This is one of a welcome committee. It's like, hello, my friend. You want to siege up over here? Do you have the proper registration and the license? Did you get everything correct here? It's like, no, fill in some more paperwork so you can come back later on. the committee goes somewhere else now. Gonna check the paperwork of these Hellions, if they're allowed to park here. I'm not so sure. Queens are definitely looking for something here. Spore is in a weird position, kind of, where this is more of an anti-Banshee Spore. Because I think that Reynor suspected Banshee play. But instead it's just going to be a single lip, so it's slightly different. 1-1 is on the way here for Spirit, who has his third base set up already. And we have the centrifugal hooks being researched here for Reynor. Evo Chamber coming out as well. We'll have to wait and see what this is going to be. This lip is just hiding in the little corner. 117 HP left over. As we've now had probably a world record for a Terran player, in which F2 hasn't been used for a while. Actually using individual control groups, which is rare. But I guess in the early game it's a little bit less rare. Hellions over here, just making sure there's no run-bys happening. We're seeing a bunker go down on the third most likely. We have a little bit of a depot wall as well. And the follow-up is going to be mine play. Is there a second factory yet? Not yet. Definitely has its little tech lab available for it though. As we could see a factory being built on there and then maybe either going into tanks or just drilling claws and triple mine production. Everything is possible, of course. This is a nasty area to push in for Terran. With these little smoke, whatever. It's probably like a subway running underneath here. I've seen this before. There's like these areas where like the smoke comes out where the subway is. It's a perfect place for a little bit of a widow mine, because you can't really see it. Then boom, all of a sudden, 10 links die, 15 links, 8 banelings. A queen, you know, anything can die. 1-1 is not finished yet for either player. Spirit a little bit too aggressive here. It's going to lose a lot of mines before the fight even really happens. Oh no, look at this bad boy. Poof! Oh, good control there by Reynor. Getting a very clutch split in the end as the Liberator sets up, gets 7 kills. Still 78 workers against 63 as Spirit in an okay position when it comes to the eco. Has forgotten his armory and thus his his upgrade lead is not going to be as large as it should be. And pretty much evens out here. Fort base hasn't even started yet. What in the world is this? No fort base, no 2-2. Second factory coming down now. Oh, here comes a Baneling morph in. Are there still Hellions? No, there are not. There's Helbets in this push though. As we see Spirit moving in. Ground carapace level 1 not quite done. As Mine's getting some decent connections. I think Reynor might be killing himself here with this bad run by. Baneling's gonna end up dying to this one mine, getting 6 kills at once. And this hatchery is toast. It's going to put the base counter back to 4 here for Reynor, who is on 84 workers and can probably somewhat efficiently mine, but he's floating a lot of money right now. Simply due to the fact that he can't produce anything. Losing a hatchery, of course, loses production for Zerg as well. Marines are here pre-splitting. And this looks really, really good for Spirit already in this game. Targeting down 2-3 Banes. Oh my god, the splits here out of Reynor are actually fabulous. Hardly losing any links to these mines. There is a force moving towards the top side, waiting to maybe kill a 5th base, but it isn't there yet. And it's going to be thrown down right about now, but yeah, Marines are already there. It's like, hello, you don't have the proper paperwork. Place and registration, please. Oh, that was a big mine hit. This bad boy has 19 kills. What if Reynor's going to try to clean that up? Probably should. That's a big old mess right there, buddy. Might want to deal with it. Couple of mines once again. Whoa, getting good hits here. Mines are so gnarly to play against. You split correctly 4 or 5 times, but you miss it once and you end up losing 7, 8 banelings. That could be a real issue here. Reynor in a world of trouble. No 5th base, yet still floating a lot of cash, just lacking that ability to produce. Should perhaps add a couple of extra queens in for the defensive ability, but also just for adding in a little bit of extra damage output. Fort base just now finishing here for Spirit. It is fairly late. He hasn't started the extra barracks yet either, so production could have been higher, but it isn't quite yet. I wonder why his eco actually has been relatively poor for a triple CC opener. It makes very little sense to me, but woo! Then again, I'm not the triple CC police or the eco police. I'm just a StarCraft 2 caster. Ooh, 8 Marine drop into the main. Leaves a naked Marine force down here. These bad boys get cleaned up by this Baneling squad. Is he straight up gonna drop into the Spore? No, he's not. 5th base being retaken here for Reynor once again. Where did his mines keep coming from? If they get good hits, I'd be upset. Okay, they didn't get good hits. They got 1 ling each. Fairly impressive. Fairly impressive indeed. Another queen goes down. That brings the total amount of queens down to 4 once more. Creep isn't spread all that far out. Pneumatized carapace on the layer is halfway. And what is that for, actually? I guess for overlord spread? Maybe for the overseers to keep up with the army, allowing you to split more efficiently against the Banes. Good target fire on majority of the Banes, but one does end up dropping, and that's going to be the end of this drop, I would assume. But the Marines just drop straight into Ling Hydra. Start taking out Hydras at a high pace. Triple medevac healing is so darn powerful. Good call there out of Spirit. I did not think it was going to be possible, but he just dropped straight into it. I guess with the 2-2 upgrades against the 1-1, you can make a lot happen. Tanks are here, mines are here, but the Marine count is very, very small. And Reynor is going to clean this up, or at least push it back for now. Cleans up the mines, cleans up the tanks, which are the most important units in this comp. 2-2 is about to finish up for our Zerg player, so he's in, well, pretty much losing his 5th base once more. This is so difficult for Zerg to take a 5th on this map. If you don't have infinite creep up here, it seems fairly tricky. Taking the 12 o'clock is hard as well due to this ramp. Just a lot of issues defensively, I think, for Zerg. 3-3 finishing up over here for... starting over here for Spirit. It was finishing already, the hacking, because it literally just started. Single medevac drop still being a little bit annoying in the main base. Does feel like Reynor is stabilizing. 2-2 is done right now. Infestation pit should be on the way shortly. Cash is definitely available. Okay, there we go. Always in the natural for some reason, that infestation pit. I wonder why that is. I guess in the main it might be a little bit too vulnerable. I think tech structures in the natural in general for Zerg are probably the safest. If your net gets broken, you've probably lost the game already, so time to go. Now, let's not forget how this game started with 6 links surrounding a single Reaper, and Spirit has fought back valiantly, and now is in a position where I think he's honestly winning. Yeah, he's just winning. 5th base being taken in the forward position here as a what I thought would have been the 4th, but he takes it as the 5th. Mines do get cleaned up. There's just no creep here on the bottom side. Queen count is at 6. Ghosts are in production as well. And here come 5 Marines with 5 medevacs. Legitimately personal healing. Poof. These bad boys in the main base snipe 2-3 more banelings and then piss off again. 10 drones just went down. Must have been... Oh, I was going to say probably a mine drop, but instead it's a Liberator killing 11 workers here. That's kind of huge. Mine drop is coming in right... Whoa. Let's pretend that never happened. Great harass so far out of Spirit. Every unit that he sends out to harass so far has really gotten its value. You know, it's been his money's worth. Especially that Liberator. Sadly, no harass happened afterwards. Wouldn't mind seeing a mine drop he sent out. Guess there's not enough mines for that. Weird. 3-3 about to finish up as the hive is done as well soon. Here comes Reynor with an attack, which is... I don't think it's gonna work, right? There's Ghost out already. The factory unit count is fairly low. I'll admit it. Was that a hit? Holy crap, snipe range is still completely fine. Oh, that was a mine drop actually. That was a mine drop and it succeeded. 12 kills. 70 workers against 85. Reynor's looking for a push in, and I understand that because he feels like he's all in, but I'm not sure if you can push into a position like this in which the Terran is maxed out, and even just having a single tank and a bunker I think is going to be good enough here. Extra command centers are being built for orbitals as 5 Vipers get constructed here, and we see Reynor kind of going for that solar style of play, that heavy Hydra Ling Bane into Viper, where it felt like a lot of players initially were just playing it to get into lurkers, and then people were like, wait a second, I'm actually getting pretty decent trades with these Vipers, with this Hydra Ling Bane. Can I just continue this party forever? And especially Solar has been very keen on that, sometimes just mixing in 1 or 2 lurkers, but not more than that. Just being very efficient in the trade, denying the opponent's bases as well. This bottom base is probably going to get denied here. Target fired down. Drops are going to get picked up and get to escape. 13 drones do end up falling somewhere, some way. Not quite sure what that was or how it happened. Don't know how or why or when he ended up being this position he's in. But we have arrived. And now it's Spirit that is once again putting the aggression. After sitting back for a little bit and letting the harass do its damage. It's now time for a maxed out push. 3-3 upgrades against 2-2. Factory unit count still fairly low. There's only one tank with this push and a mere 2 mines. There's one more mine in the back, but this army is going to get blasted by the Banes, obviously. Big pickup here. Over on towards that 5th base. Might actually be capable of taking it out as the rest of the trade goes Reynor's way in a pretty large manner. There's infestors out as well. It's definitely going to add some utility to this Zerg army as these 2 medevacs still going ham. Baneling's going to get connections with these marines, but very efficient trades once again for Spirit. Losing a marine to 1 Baneling is of course completely fine for him, as his orbital command count right now is at 4. I feel like that should be a little bit higher. He's adding 2 more and is expanding at a very rapid pace down towards the 7th base already. So he wants to take that bottom, that 6 o'clock base over this 12 o'clock, which is somewhat interesting. I guess this is like a 1 o'clock maybe, and this is more like a 5.5 o'clock. 6 o'clock would be right over here, where there's no base. 5.5, 4, 3, 2, 1, a half maybe. I don't know what this is. 12.5, 0.5. 12. That's what it is. Lurker then on the way here for Reynor. Wants to probably stabilize. Viper, Infestor. How are you going to control this army, my friend? Well, with multiple hotkeys. Are you good enough for that? Let's take a look here at the answer. Fungal is going to connect. Vipers are a little bit slow to the party. Blinding Clouds will hit. Parasitic Bombs also hitting, meaning that these... Yeah, this was a good control. This control was completely fine. Reynor making a little bit of magic happen here in those fights. But fact of the matter is that all of his transactions so far in this game have been negative overall, down by about 9k. And with the rapid pace at which Spirit is expanding, I'm honestly not seeing Reynor outmine his opponent. If anything, he is going to get outmined. Spirit is already mining that top side here. I really think he might be expanding a bit too fast. I would have preferred seeing extra orbitals over this quick expansion to bases you can't even mine yet. Yes, it's nice to have a foothold there with a planetary, but I don't know. I think I even would have preferred seeing a planetary over here for some added safety, a tank in the back, just playing a very positional type of game. Turrets are being used as spotters right now, and I think this would be a perfect location or a perfect opportunity for Spirit to add in a Raven. Just so you have the constant detection against these burrowed infestors. I just think that would be highly useful. Of course, Raven also has more utility than just that, as it also has the anti-armor missile, which still would be really good against a Marine and a Ghost gun that is just this high. Also, against everything, -2 armoring is pretty darn huge. Yeah, this command center is going to get taken out. There's no way that Spirit can defend this yet. That's why I said I think maybe putting it over here or just morphing a couple of extra orbitals is going to be the play here. Hydra's moving forward, tried to snipe that command center. Will not quite happen as this base falls for what feels like a 7th time. I didn't even see it go down, but there used to be something here and now it ain't. So it probably died. 6 lurkers on the way, Adrenal Glands as well. And these lurkers are probably gonna either try and set up at one of the own bases for defense, or will be used as a harassment tool to try and create a little bit of chaos, because that is what Reynor is after right now. He needs chaos in his life, and more importantly, he also needs chaos in Spirit's life. Blinding Clouds not hitting this tank, because there's no Blinding Clouds available, I guess. Lurkers moving forward, Infestors hitting all of their Fungals, and these Lurkers dealing a lot of damage. This was an okay-ish fight, but not okay-ish enough, as once again the Terran comes out victorious. Carapace only being at level 2, definitely a contributing factor there. This army is extremely low as well. Felt like if there was like 3 more Banelings in this army and 2 more Hydras, literally everything would have just straight up died. A couple of snipes going down on that Queen as it falls. 6 more Lurkers on the way, +2 range, Adrenal Glands. But 20 more drones do end up going down as Spirit is moving in and pretty much picking up his well-deserved win. As Reynor running out of money, running out of bases, and running out of drones. And if you don't have an army, you don't have bases, and you don't have drones, life is going to be very difficult coming back into a game against a Terran who's on freaking, what is it? Well, still only 5 orbitals. It's fairly low. A lot lower than I thought it would be. 5 orbitals and a bunch of planetaries. 5 planetaries, 5 orbitals. You never want to have as many planetaries as you have orbitals, I think. That's almost always a mistake. Topside base is fairly vulnerable, but I guess strong enough by itself to deal with this Ling Lurker threat. And I think that tells a story. Usually if there's an isolated base like this, it's just going to end up dying because you can easily clear it as a Zerg. Reynor is too afraid to go in just because of the planetary itself. Now he has plenty of units and that's nice, but yeah. Here come the lips. Parasitic bombs are going to be the answer to them. A couple of lurkers will probably end up taking a bit of a beating, as this lip in this area is also trying to kill some drones. Bottom side will get taken out, or at least forced to lift. There's no Hydra, so it can't really be taken out. Uh-oh. Overseers aren't that plentiful anymore. Just 2 remaining. Snipes are going to connect with these lurkers. And I think that this hatchery is going to end up being taken out here. Yeah, Reynor back onto a mere 3 bases. Stays in, still believes in it. But I don't. Adaptive talents, infestors. He's gonna need one hell of a fight and then one hell of a counterattack. And then another one hell of a fight. And then sitting on top of the production, because money-wise, he's absolute toast. Complete toast right now. 47 workers. Here come the Lings. This is not going to be the fight that he's looking for. There's no infestors. The Viper's way too far back. Parasitic bombs will get the connections, and honestly ends up being a pretty darn good fight for him. Somehow, some way. As every air unit, every ground unit ends up falling. But Spirit still has up 40 supply. Of course, a lot of that is in SCVs, but production is so large right now with those double starports. With the 8 barracks, pumping out Ghosts, pumping out Marauders, Liberators moving forward. There's no real source of anti-air. GG gets called. Spirit wins this game in 22 minutes and 21 seconds here on Grassfan. After a terrible start where his Reaper got surrounded, ends up taking it back and wins the game. I really feel like this should probably be one of the Zerg videos. When I saw this map initially, I was like, man, this is this freaking Zerg paradise. Large map, many bases, some kind of neutral bases, but Terrans really have found a way to use expansion patterns to their advantage, and it's been a treat to watch this map as well. Very active often in the mid game with fun end games as well, kind of positionally open area. So yeah, good job on the map maker here as well. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.